Hi, my name is David Eby and I currently serve as the music director up in Ananda, Portland. I've been involved with Ananda Music directing and participating for the past 25 years. And today I'd like to share a little bit about my experiences and why Ananda Music can be a life changer for you. The sole reason for Ananda Music is to uplift consciousness. It is there not as entertainment, although there are some beautiful pieces that serve as beautiful backdrops of relaxation, of inspiration. It is there to uplift and teach us how to tap into higher consciousness. So it all depends where you want to go. Swami Kriyananda said, music is not a matter of taste, it is a matter of consciousness. And so it's all up to you. Where do you want to go? We've had many people ask, well, why can't I come and do my own music here? Why can't I do my music here? And this, I want to be absolutely clear. It is not our job to judge other music or to limit or to say, no, you can't be creative, but rather to continue sharing into this world the light and the ray which has come through Swami Kriyananda and his music. In a way, it is a bit of a conservatorship in that we are preserving and holding and keeping alive with inspiration this music. Now, why is music important? Music is vibration, and we are vibratory beings of energy and of consciousness. And I'll never forget one of my first experiences with Ananda Music was with another gentleman, Agni, when he was performing, and I was sitting very, very still, and he was singing each different song as I went through, and I felt my body respond to each song in a different way. I can't explain it very well except to say I felt different resonances, different energetic flows, different openings for each and every song that he sang. So I was hooked. I needed to find out how I could resonate more and more deeply with that. Now I'm using the word resonance, and we use this word a lot. Wow, I really resonate with that, or that struck a chord in me, or I'm in tune with that idea. We're on the same wavelength. So resonance, sympathetic resonance, is a phenomenon. It's one of those things like gravity and tides that just is. There's no explaining why it happens, it just does. Where a string, for instance, will start to vibrate, or a tuning fork will start to vibrate on its own accord when its note is played nearby. So that's what happens within us when we say, wow, that really touched me, that really moved me, when we feel something awaken inside of us. And that, to me, is the most important thing about music, is how it can awaken us spiritually, how it can keep us going with inspiration. Because if you're on the spiritual path, you may know that it is an ongoing process. It's not a sprint. It is a long distance race, and we need all the inspiration and help that we can get. So when I first came to Ananda, I thought, oh, how nice, this man, Swami Kriyananda, happened to write some music. I wasn't particularly moved by any of the recorded music, but then when I had to sing it, it transformed my consciousness so much that I've devoted my life to following it and to exploring how this happens. The yogic teachings tell us that a song can be infused with inspiration, with vibration. And Johannes Brahms, one of the greatest classical composers, explained it in an interview. He said, I go into a meditative state between dreaming and wakefulness. And he was asked, oh, you mean like the subconscious? And Brahms said, no, this is much higher, like the superconscious. Interesting that both he and Yogananda used the same word. And there I take a piece of scripture, a passage of scripture, and I repeat that over and over again. And then I can start to feel vibrations thrill my body, and I'm able to contact this source of creativity where I get all of my musical ideas. So in the higher astral realms, there's music all over the place. And some of the greatest composers are able to tap into that particular music and to share it here on earth. Handel, when he was composing the Hallelujah Chorus, was found with his arms upraised and tears streaming down his face and said, "I saw the gates of heaven open before me and the great God himself revealed." He was having an experience of samadhi, of enlightenment, and he was able to bring that experience down into the music. And that's why this piece is so beloved, not because it got 10,000 likes on Facebook, but because it is filled with living inspiration. Swami Kriyananda goes on to explain in Art and Science of Raja Yoga how music, a musical piece, is like a piece of architecture. It will gain energy and magnetism depending on how it is used. So you walk into a sacred site where pilgrims have been coming for thousands of years, and you can easily feel that holy vibration. You walk into a nightclub and you feel a different vibration. I've done that from experience. And so these pieces of music give us a chance to dive into these sacred places. They have been sung and practiced with reverence and with openness, with receptivity. And receptivity is really key. There are many people here at Ananda that are just like, I don't really get the music. But my encouragement to them is never give up and try to increase receptivity, because you never know when that moment is where it can open up something within you. Now, are we here to say that, oh, Ananda music is the best music in the world and you don't bother listening to anything else? No, of course you're going to resonate with music that touches you, that moves you. We are on a continuum of so many different levels of emotional, of spiritual, of mental, of physical, that we're going to need a great deal of different music in our lives. So we want to be smart about how we use music. Music as medicine is an extremely powerful tool, and it gets misused all the time, just out of habit and out of passivity. So for instance, out of passivity of like, well, I'm just going to turn on the radio and just kind of groove with whatever music's on the radio. Of course, now with phones and such, we've got our own playlists that we can work with. But putting yourself in the hands of a DJ can be a pretty risky experience. You can walk into a mall and come out feeling just exhausted because all the music is just doof, doof, doof. They are able to match that vibration that says you are unfulfilled unless you go out and get this and you'll be happy. And you listen to this music and you can say, yeah, that's what this music is trying to tell me. So take a look at how you use your music. Of course, intentionally is the best thing. So oftentimes, for me, I don't listen to a lot of music because I like to save that for being very, very intentional with it. So for instance, when I chant, I choose a chant that is going to take me to where I want to go, that would particularly speak to me that day. And one of the things that we do in our choir practice is relax and feel afterwards. And that's the most important thing. I like to, when I'm working with music, have a time to be very specific, so designated to rehearsing it, to diving deep into it, and then making sure that I've got the time afterwards to relax and feel. Because that's when the magic happens. That's when we can see, okay, how did this music affect me? And that is the most important thing. If music brings your energy down, avoid it like poison. It's one of my other quotes from Swami Kriyananda that I live by. If you eat a food and it makes you feel bad, you're not likely to eat it again. So by becoming sensitive to music, if it takes you down from where you want to be, then why bother going there? Now, that can be interpreted in many different ways of like, well, maybe you just want to go to sleep, or maybe you just have to get this emotion, live in it, dwell in it, and then move on from there. So again, never be judgmental about whatever music you're listening to. I've got a 16-year-old daughter. I've learned the hard way not to be judgmental. So I am getting well versed in a lot of music that's out there, and some of it's really, really beautiful. And of course, there's music that's like, okay, Caitlin, it's not a song that I really want to listen to. I'm not enjoying right now. And so the experiences that we can have will speak to us in different ways, just because we have these different makeups, these different spiritual makeups. The music spoke to me in a way that was more powerful than some of my other friends, and who knows why? I don't know why. It's a mystery. But again, it's a resource that I know can change lives and can change consciousness. I had the fantastic blessing of sharing Swami's music with the school children here for 12 years. And there are particular songs that they would just, it was sadhana. I wasn't teaching them much about reading music and playing recorders and things like that. It was more about, let's get in this vibration. And they loved songs like If You're Seeking Freedom. And the kids would learn how to sing solos. And every week it was just, okay, what do we want to sing? And it would be these same songs over and over again. They never got tired of them. They were open to that vibration. I think that was one of the greatest gifts that I could give them, was that experience of higher consciousness that wasn't being force-fed down their throats. It was just something that their souls recognized as pleasurable, as uplifting. And so it's an incredible blessing to work with children who are receptive and open in that way. So some of my own experiences with Swami Kriyananda were amazing lessons in creativity and humility. He would only go as far as he thought you could handle going. So he never, and I worked with him on many projects, and he never took me aside and said, okay, this, you just got to redo this. And oftentimes he would say, well, it would be nice if this had some more feeling in it, or if this could be done a little bit differently. And so I would fix it, and he would see the improvement, and then we would go on from there. But he would bring us to, he would invite us to his level of consciousness whenever we were working with his music. And to have had the blessing of performing with him present was always filled with some incredible presence of energy, of inspiration. And I think the angels came to be with him at those times. I had the great honor of accompanying him on my cello as he would sing some of the oratorio songs. And one of the most interesting things that I had to learn was that he did not follow specific rhythms and tempos. He knew music, he could write it, but then when it came time to perform, it needed to flow. He was never metronomic. So he kept me on my toes as I performed with him. And he always wanted to have music to be performed basically as you speak. As you speak, you aren't talking in a fixed pattern this way, unless you're trying to get a point across. But he always wanted us to be more lyrical with our rhythms. So there were times where he would adjust the timing carefully, and for notating that can be kind of tricky there. But being in his presence and working with him in that way was always such an incredible blessing. So he brought to me the gift of playing music from my soul, being able to sit and to dive deep into myself and to play my cello or conduct the choir in a way that invited his consciousness in, invited the music in, and brought it forth in a way that I'm hoping could resonate that vibration and that inspiration. Again, our job as performers is to resonate that inspiration. And we do that through our eyes, we do that through the energy, we do that through our hearts, and we do that through our voices or instrumentals. And so how you use your voice is really, really important. He taught us how to use the body as a sounding board, to engage the chakras so that as we sing, we're incorporating the vibration of the heart, the expansiveness of the throat, and the joy of the spiritual eye. Being able to infuse all of these vibrations as we sing, to infuse it with our entire being. And so that's one of the greatest joys of working with an Ananda choir, is to invite people to come in and sing with their whole being, to have their vibrations sing louder than their voices. Sometimes it's really easy to get carried away and just, start belting things out. But really, it's the vibrations. There was one time early on when I was working with a choir and I was conducting, it's like, it wasn't sounding so good. And then it stopped. I was like, oh gosh, I'm glad that's over. Then somebody came up to me and said, David, that was the most beautiful expression of that song that I've ever heard. So we just don't know really what is coming across. Sometimes the energy speaks so much louder than the words. So tune in to the energy of songs. We're going to just come back and finish with this question of why Ananda music? It's there as a tool. It's there as a resource. It doesn't care if we like it or not, if you like it or not, or if I do. It's there. It's a light that is going to be shining with potential energy to draw anyone to a state of higher consciousness. It is universally written to invite as many souls as possible to a ray of light that is here to uplift, that is here to serve humanity. So, again, I'll recap. The greatest thing you can do to dive into Ananda music, or to any music for that matter, is to sing it. If you want to get to know me, listen to my music, is what Swami Kriyananda wrote. However, if you want to know his consciousness, sing his music. It is such an incredible tool because you have that ability of creating vibration. We are creators of vibration whenever we use our voices. If you can imagine this whole universe being created through vibration, perhaps that's what we're doing as we sing, as we speak. We're creating these little universes, and we can't quite form them into little globes and little people yet, but we are creating spheres of energy. We are creating magnetism as we perform, as we sing, as we speak. So we are putting out energy that can tangibly be felt. You walk into a room after a concert the next morning, and you can feel the vibrations still lingering there. It's a powerful experience. So listening within for the vibration, and again, if you can sing his music, even that's the best way to go about it. And then to take it a moment and to open your heart and to still your body, to lift your consciousness, to breathe and to allow yourself to resonate. I did a TED talk on sympathetic resonance, and pianos have these dampers on them. They have the dampers on the strings which keep the strings from resonating. But if you press on the right-hand pedal, it lifts all the dampers up, and then the strings can vibrate freely. If you sing into the piano, the strings will start to vibrate on their own accord just from the vibrations of your voice. It's not an echo chamber. The strings start to move as they go. So trying to lift the dampers within ourselves of doubt, of fear, of any negativity, and to allow yourself to be vulnerable. Really, that's when the music will speak to us the most. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, lift your dampers, and resonate with the music that is going to speak to your soul. Again, find that music. Find that music that's going to take you one step higher to where you want to go. And dive deep and enjoy. Thank you.